Hello and welcome to Defense Insight. In today's program, we bring you the key highlights from the Turkish Ministry of National Defense's weekly press briefing, delivered by Rear Admiral Zeki Aktürk, Press and Public Relations Advisor to the Ministry of National Defense. The briefing covers Turkey's contributions to regional and global peace through NATO missions and bilateral cooperation, assessments of the latest developments in the Middle East, as well as updates on the Turkish Armed Forces training activities, multinational exercises, and international missions aimed at maintaining a high level of operational readiness. Let's now turn to Rear Admiral Zeki Aktürk's official statement.
The Turkish Armed Forces continue to contribute to regional and global peace and stability within the framework of bilateral relations and international missions, particularly those conducted under NATO. In this context, within the scope of the NATO Enhanced Air Policing Mission, the deployment of our 5 F-16 aircraft and the assigned personnel, who will serve between 1st August and 30th November 2026 to Estonia, was completed on 31st July. And our elements commenced their mission as of 1st August. Regarding the developments in the Middle East, we reiterate the importance of all parties demonstrating a prudent and responsible approach in the negotiations being conducted between the United States and Iran with the aim of ensuring lasting peace and stability in the region. On the other hand, Israel, which constitutes the greatest obstacle to the establishment of lasting peace and stability in the region, continues to deliberately sabotage diplomatic efforts aimed at achieving a ceasefire and lasting peace in Gaza at a time when these initiatives have been progressing positively. As a result of Israel's attack last weekend on a tent camp sheltering displaced civilians and a healthcare facility in Gaza, more than 30 civilians lost their lives. This attack constitutes the latest example of Israel's disregard for international law. We once again emphasize that it is essential for the international community to adopt a more determined and resolute stance against these actions by Israel by upholding international law and humanitarian values in order to establish peace and stability in the region. If this translation is intended for international media, NATO documents, or diplomatic use, I can also adapt the translation to the official diplomatic English style commonly used by the Turkish Ministry of National Defense and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Turkish Armed Forces continue to conduct training and exercise activities without interruption in order to maintain a high level of readiness. In this context, the joint fire exercise, which commenced in Slovakia on July 20th, will conclude tomorrow, August 7th. The Baltic Trust counter-drone exercise, which commenced in Latvia on August 4th, will conclude on the 14th of August. On the other hand, within the scope of student training activities, the Italian Navy unit San Marco is paying a port visit to Antalya between the 2nd and 6th of August, within the framework of and 6 August. Within the framework of the NATO Standing Maritime Group 2, SNMG-2, the Hellenic Navy ship Kunturiotis and the Italian Navy ship Montecuccoli are paying a port visit to Axas between 4 and 6 August. Within the scope of the open sea training of our National Defense University Naval Academy cadets, TCG Osman Ghazi is paying a port visit to Livorno, Italy between 5 and 7 August. Following the completion of its NATO Standing Maritime Group 1 SNMG-1 mission, TCG Orichrais, which paid a port visit to Lisbon, Portugal between 31st July and 3rd August, will conduct a port visit to Civitavecchia, Italy, between 7th and 11th August. This version follows the formal terminology and style commonly used in NATO and Turkish Ministry of National Defense English press releases.
That concludes today's edition of Defense Insight. Thank you for joining us as we covered the key announcements from the Turkish Ministry of National Defense's weekly press briefing. For more updates on defense, security, and international affairs, stay tuned to AFROTURK TV. Thank you for watching. See you in our next program.